Welcome back, and as you can see behind me, the guys are almost finished. Almost finished. They've been at it for a couple of hours now, and probably into the last 20 minutes. But we're on to our last whisky of the day. Highland Park 40-year-old. Now, Highland Park 40-year-old, there's a couple of things you need to know. Currently, it's the oldest whisky we make. Currently. There is something else coming out next year, but we'll keep that under our hat for now. The 40-year-old is one of arguably the best whiskies that we make here at Highland Park. Not because it just happens to be the oldest. It's all to do with the fact of the way that we've brought these casks together over many, many years. It's very, very easy at 40 years old to bring a single cask out. Anybody in any industry can bring out a really old, cognac, or really an old Armagnac, old whiskey, whatever, one cask and charge lots and lots of money for it. That's easy. Anybody can do that. What we decided to do was to wait. Now, we have older casks than 40-year-old, and we could bring out, older casks tomorrow. What we decided to do was wait till there's a portion of whiskey, a portion of casks that come together, a parcel, that we can mix together to create a consistent 40-year-old year after year after year, so you consistently have the best 40-year-old in the world. And we've done it. Now, the good thing about this is tasting. Still love that noise. Now, the 40-year-old, like the 30, is all about refill casks. All about refill casks. But they've changed slightly. Not in the makeup, but in their interaction with the spirit. If you look at the colour, again, nice and dark whiskey, again, completely natural. There's no caramel added to any of our whiskies. If we turn it 45 degrees, spin it all the way around and hold it up to the light, you'll notice that the tears and legs are very, very small. Again, it's high in alcohol, and we use the alcohol, high alcohol, as a flavour delivery device. We want that sensation in the mouth. It's not about making it at 40%, not just so we can sell lots of bottles, it's about making it at the best we can. And that's what we do. The tears and legs haven't even appeared yet. There's so much flavour going on here. Now, when we come to smell it, this is the first time you'll realise that we've done something different. It becomes very obvious. When we taste a 12-year-old, 15, 18, 21, 25, 30, and all the other whiskies we do, it's all about sweetness first and then smoke afterwards. And we create the balance with sweet and smoke. With a 40-year-old, it's smoke first, and then the sweetness comes very, very quickly alongside it. So you actually get that sensation at the same time. So when you smell it, you get a wonderful smoky note, which is usually hidden behind the sweetness, and then give it a couple of extra sniffs, and then the sweetness begins to appear. Very, very dark fruits. Very, very sweet whiskey. Now, cheers. Just chew it, chew it, chew it, chew it, chew it, chew it. And what happens is you just get that wonderful explosion in your mouth. There's very little sensation in the tongue this time. It's all in the roof of the mouth. It coats your mouth completely, just completely coats it like a good ice cream would. Just fills the mouth with smoke, and then the sweetness just arrives. And the longer you wait, the sweetness gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and it becomes just in total harmony towards the end, slightly drying on the finish. The 40-year-old is a seriously good whiskey for 40 years old, because what's difficult at old age is normally you would get that musty smell, that slightly over oaked, a slightly woody smell you would get from casks. We don't get that up here in Orkney very often because of the small angel share that we give up. The climate difference up here is very, very unique because of our small temperature change from 10 degrees in the summer to 2 degrees in the winter, and with these big stone walls that surrounds us here, that temperature difference in the warehouse is almost nothing. So we only lose between 1 and 1.5% annually, which means we have less air in the casks, which means we have less oxidation, which means you have that less chance of that woody smell coming right the way throughout the whiskey. And that's why at 40 years old, it's still a seriously good whiskey, not too much. Now, a couple other things. If you ever get a chance to come to Orkney and you're lucky enough to come and drink the 40-year-old, if you're staying in one of the hotels, ask if you can get one of the old bottles from the 40-year-old, just in case you get lost. Because you come to Orkney, you get excited, you have a couple of drinks, you never know, you might end up getting lost. On the bottom of every bottle, there's a map of the island, so as long as you have a bottle of 40-year-old, you've always got that chance of finding your way back home. And the last thing for Highland Park. We need to explain this. Normally at the ends of whisky tastings and talks around the world, somebody like me would stand up and say, Slangevar or Slante, which basically means cheers, happy birthday, Merry Christmas, and whatever it is in Scotch. In Orkney, we don't care. The reason for that is when that very famous actor Mel Gibson, the very famous Scottish actor who was playing William Wallace in Braveheart, when he was running about the fields wearing no clothes up in Orkney, that has nothing to do with us, because at that point we were owned by the Norwegian and Danish kingdom, because we weren't part of Scotland at that point. And how Orkney became part of Scotland is a wonderful romantic tale. We had a king of Scotland called King James II, and he was a very poor man, unfortunately, and what he decided to do was to marry himself off to a rich king's daughter to hopefully get a bit of money and a bit of support in the war against the English. The wedding was arranged not with King James, but King James's son, Prince James. And Prince James married Princess Margaret. They were wed and they had 3 children. Their eldest became King James IV of Scotland. King James IV of Scotland, as we all know, is a very important man for us, because he's the man who writes now 8 balls of malt for Friar John Corr, which is the first written account of Scotch whisky in our history. So if it wasn't for the Vikings and wasn't for the wee islands of Orkney, which was given as a present to Scotland for the wedding, we might not be making Scotch whisky today. So when you come to Orkney, don't say Slangevar to anybody, because they won't understand it. You have to say something very Norwegian, something very Scandinavian. We say Skål. So ladies and gentlemen, if you ever get a chance to take a drink of the 40, I hope you enjoy it. And Skål. Cheers.